Good morning, Taurus. Today I wanted to discuss a little bit about the war in Iran, the Middle East, and the financial impact that it could have on, your finances, and not really your personal finances, but just I feel like we're living in a moment where the world itself feels uncertain. Wars, economic shifts, rising prices, and when the outer world changes like this, it often pushes us to rethink what stability really means in our own lives. And with these wars escalating, and personally, I don't think they're gonna end really fast, like they're saying. This is gonna be decades. So with these wars escalating and the global economy shifting, I feel like many people are possibly feeling uncertain about the future. I know I am. So for Taurus, this reading is suggesting something surprising, that these global changes might actually push you toward a more authentic path. And we'll dive further into that. Welcome back to Hermit in the Woods Tarot. My name is Matt. And if you're new here, this little cabin in the woods quietly reaches out to people who need guidance. And I invite you to like the video, subscribe, comment where you're watching from. Leave me questions or comments for future readings if you feel drawn to. Sometimes the quietest questions hold the clearest answers. And remember that these readings are general guidance only, so trust your intuition. For you, Taurus, that's your best compass. And the forest teaches us that growth is rarely loud. Today we're going to explore how the energy around you is shifting in ways that might feel uncomfortable, yet hold the seeds of resilience, clarity, and authentic direction. Alright, so today's reading I use the House of the Dragon Tarot deck, which is particularly powerful for examining responsibility, transformation, and navigating change. And we'll work with the Iron Throne spread, which is 5 cards, which examines power, positioning, decisions, destiny, and the path toward claiming what is rightfully yours. And this spread isn't about controlling others, it's about stepping fully into your path, even when it feels uncertain or unfamiliar. Alright, so let's see what we got for Taurus. And this can be career, family, love. We'll see what the messages and the cards reveal as we go. And then we'll pull a spirit message. And then later we'll get 2 clarifying cards to round out the message and connect it all together. So the first card for Taurus this week, and this is going to be next week, next month, but if you're finding this a year from now, this could be a message for you. So time is relative. But anyways, we have the Knight of Blades in reverse. And this is your Dragon's Eye, which is your obstacles part of the Iron Throne spread. Something about this card suggests you may be holding back certain actions. You're hesitating because you're overthinking. And normally the Knight of Blades is decisive, he's quick, but reversed it shows frustration and uncertainty. Right now, I feel like Taurus, the obstacle isn't lack of ability. It's feeling that the world is moving faster than you can really respond to it. And I think that holds true with all the news that's been coming out over the last year and whatever couple months it is. It's just non-stop, in your face. The government can't get anything done. We're in turbulent times, and I feel like it's a feeling that the world is moving faster than you can really get a grasp on. And my advice here would be to pause, assess carefully, avoid any rush decisions, especially around finance or career moves. And that holds true just about for every sign out there. So let's get into the next card, which is your strengths, and this is the blades of the Iron Throne spread. So the Knight of Crowns, and this is reverse. It's even reverse, this card reflects this energy of emotional resilience, reflective strength, and clearly you may have learned to navigate challenges thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This is a core strength in uncertain times, and so your ability to stay grounded and evaluate options calmly and respectfully. So it's suggesting that even if your career or finances feel rocky, you possess the patience and insight to steer through change successfully. Next we get into the next card in the spread, which is this is who held the throne before you, and this is the Seven of Tankards, which is, you would call it Seven of Cups. And this card highlights the value of your past decisions, relationships you've been in, and even if they were driven by habit or comfort, for some of you, I feel like it's clear that you're holding on to old patterns, or if you are holding on to old patterns, it's not serving your growth. And so letting go some of those old patterns, or this could be addictions, and not necessarily like drug, but this could be, you know, maybe you're working too hard, or maybe you know, not spending enough time with your family, or because of work, and it's time to let go. And you may need to release old commitments, letting go of outdated expectations, while still honoring the experience that it gave you. So I'm not necessarily saying it's negative. It could be positive, but everything, whether it's positive or negative, can have an effect on everyone around you. So obviously working can be positive. It's a positive thing, but working too much can have a negative effect. So let's move on to your hidden strength. And this is the window. And this is the Ace of Tankard's reverse. And here, your hidden strength is subtle but powerful. You have this ability to notice small opportunities for growth and renewal, especially in emotional or financial matters. So you may be drawn to new skills, creative projects, leadership roles, and that's really what this card is indicating. The guidance here is to trust these quiet openings and explore them thoughtfully. And then finally we get into the best possible outcome, which is the Five of Blades, and this is reverse as well. And reverse, this card signals resolutions. There might be I would say strategic retreat, or in other words, avoiding unnecessary conflict. And the best outcome here is not to force or compete. It's navigating the shifting landscape carefully. Protect your resources and make deliberate moves. And now across these cards, I would say there's a pattern emerging here. The external world may be unstable, but your inner steadiness, patience, adaptability, that's your greatest assets here. So with that, let's get into the astrological energy expansion for the coming week. And this week, the Aquarius moon forms a supportive aspect to Venus in Aries on Sunday, March 15th. It's activating your 10th and 12th houses. I feel like some of you might have career conversations, recognition may unfold behind the scenes. There's tension with Pluto, which is suggesting small challenges in professional dynamics. And then on Monday, March 16th, the Aquarius moon conflicts with Uranus and Taurus. And this is going to bring unexpected personal realizations. And then later in the week, the moon entering Pisces, there will be a shifting focus towards friendships and community. Emotionally, Taurus, this is the time to stay observant, grounded, flexible, particularly how you manage your resources and relationships. And I want to share a story this week. It's called The Lantern at Dusk. And an old caretaker walked the quiet forest path each evening, lighting lanterns along the trail to guide travelers safely through the woods. And one twilight, he handed a lantern to a young traveler. The young person hesitated, and he said, "How will I see the whole road?" The elder smiled. "You don't need to see the whole road. You only need to see the next step clearly." And this reminds me of Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. And Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom. So for Taurus this week, I think you don't need to predict every outcome. The key is having clarity, having intention, and really seeing the next step, and especially amid this global uncertainty. So let's get into the spirit message, and this is the Nine of Tankards, and this is reverse, and this card reflects onto that message of emotional imbalance. I think some of you have unexpressed feelings, and sometimes for some of you, you might want to start sharing these feelings that you're having. So I feel like some of you have been giving to others more than receiving, and this could be emotionally, professionally, financially. And the guidance is to check within yourself, honor your needs, and avoid overextending. Alright, so let's pull two clarifying cards. And I pulled the Ace of Dragons reversed and the Justice. So I feel like the Ace of Dragons reverse is encouraging you to reevaluate those resources, take heed to any skills that you might have, maybe learn new skills, and really focus on planning for the future, especially with this unexpected global and your own personal shifts. Justice reminds you to act fairly and deliberately, and weighing decisions carefully. So together, these cards reinforce having measured, reflective action as your most powerful tool in turbulent times. And so, how does this reading relate to you, the viewer? I feel like some of you, several of you, might be feeling stuck in careers. You're not really able to move on into a higher role. And I feel like, as much as that's not a fun position to be in, I think my advice is to have patience, because I think there's a lot of viewers out there that are unemployed, and their future looks bleak, and I'm one of them. Unemployed. The job situation is dire, I haven't applied at a job in 2 weeks now, almost 2 weeks. There's really, I keep looking, but there's not a lot out there. I don't know. I guess I could maybe apply to one position, but it's a stretch. Do I don't know. I guess I could fit the role, but there's just some parts of it that really might not fit me. And do I want to waste my time in? And I guess I should, but I don't know. I just don't want to waste anybody's time, and I think that's the real hard thing about it. So if you feel stuck in a career, just be mindful that it's a tough world out there. Hang on to that job. But I'm still waiting for job offers through a few interviews I had a couple weeks ago. Companies are moving really slow, and I think that's my fear, is that with the oil climbing and the global uncertainty and the stock markets, just, I day trade in the mornings too, and I took 2 trades, I made like 40 cents. That's how it didn't go anywhere, and it was, I don't know, what's the point? And it wasn't like that a year ago, it wasn't like that 2 years ago. Yeah, it's pretty wild out there with, and I've just read somewhere that, and I don't know the source yet, I was kind of looking it up, I just heard it on a YouTube video, but they revised the jobs number down over the last, since like January 25, by 710,000 jobs. So they revised it down by 710,000 jobs, and that's 55,000 loss in jobs under this administration for the last like 13 months or something. And you hear of layoffs all over the place, and it's gonna get brutal. So try to hang on to that job. Try to be mindful of your, how you go about things. I feel like some of you might be reconnecting with somebody, but unsure how to trust. You might be navigating family pressures and life changes. And these situations all reflect uncertainty and growth challenges. And these cards suggest focusing on internal stability through reflection and skill building, strengthening healthy boundaries and relationships, explore new creative paths, even when the world feels chaotic. For Taurus, intentional small steps shape the future more than frantic reactions. So I would say financial guidance going forward. There's several things you can do. Before worrying about investing or big financial moves, focus on the essentials. Make sure housing, food, healthcare, and transportation are covered. If you can, hopefully you've been building or maintaining an emergency fund. Reduce and eliminate high interest debt like credit cards. So in unstable economies, cash flow and low debt often matter more than chasing returns. Always reduce unnecessary expenses. Economic pressure is a good time to reassess habits, look for areas where you can cut that spending without harming the quality of your life. That could be subscriptions you rarely use, impulse purchases, lifestyle inflation. Diversify income if possible. One of the biggest risks in uncertain economies is relying on a single income source. So consider expanding income streams, freelancing, consulting, part-time remote work. This is me trying to, I don't really make money on these YouTube videos, but for me, it's helping me with my interview skills, I feel like. But I am also building a bar CPA exam channel. But I pulled back on that. I wanted to go back to college, but I'm kind of weighing my options yet. So yeah, getting new skills is one of the most reliable assets. And I don't know. I just don't know if I can. I really need to get working, and so I'm hopeful, and I think if I could get working, I definitely would go back to college as well. But yeah, in changing economies, skills are one of the most reliable assets. But also stay informed, but try to avoid panicking. Constant exposure to alarming news can lead to poor decisions, so just follow credible economic sources, review your financial plan periodically, and avoid reacting to the emotional, or reacting emotionally to the headlines out there. So Taurus, the overall message is clear. Stability isn't fixed. It's cultivated through adaptability, reflection, careful action. Global events might push you to reconsider your path, but your true strength lies in seeing clearly, one step at a time. Always protect those resources. Trust your own wisdom. With that said, thank you for spending time here at Hermit in the Woods Tarot. If this reading resonated, please like, subscribe, comment what spoke to you most. Definitely interested to hear if you are unemployed and how your job search is going. I think that's one thing that I really have been reaching out to others, trying to find out, how they're doing. And I'm on LinkedIn. I definitely see a lot of people, posting how their job search is tough, and there's not a lot of opportunity out there. So always remember, sometimes the answers we're searching for were already waiting in the quiet. Again, thank you for watching.